I just thought about something. Do you remember that scene in Tootsie where the camera said, you know, they were talking about getting the shot of Tootsie, and they said, back, 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 back. How far do you want to go? Nebraska or something like that. So anyway, in the spirit of Tootsie on this Monday morning, I'm going to just set this back a wee bit. There we go. I'm endurable now, okay? Because close to the camera is close to the mic and doesn't do me any favours anyway. So here we go. Let me get this set up. That's an inspired intro, okay? So I made a few notes. Welcome to Ranty Monday. Yeah, Ranty. That AI in all its wisdom cannot spell, in the same way as they cannot spell bollocksology, crapology. Anyway, I've made my coffee. I've thought about a few things. Okay, some serious stuff really. I'll just have a sip of my second cup of coffee of the day. Good. So over the course of the weekend, I was thinking about AI. Yeah. We haven't given it enough thought. We have a sort of a fear factor built in about it, but I was thinking about it and I've come up with a few interesting areas of future research. Bigger picture is rather interesting. In fact, the bigger picture is very interesting and hasn't really been explored at all by anyone that I know, and that's across social media. So let me just put a few things out there, and I'm going to be really interested in what you have to say. Leave it in the comments. So, AI is upon us. The UK government issued a sort of a drought warning, if you like, to people in the UK. And it went roughly like this. Correct me if I'm wrong. If there's anyone who, you know, has actually seen this message, perhaps you'd like to leave the full message in the comments. And it was to do with drought and water. And they advised people, or even asked people, if they'd be good enough to delete any emails from their accounts that were superfluous to requirements. You know, the kind of, you know, the way emails stack up in your account, and once every so often you just clear the lot of them into the bin. But they did this specifically to try to counter the drought. Because AI, although we have this notion of it being in the clouds, hallelujah, it's not in any clouds. They're in ginormous machines. All the info, everything that's needed to run them. These gigantic machines in these gigantic places that require a hell of a lot of water. Why do they require the water? To keep the machines cool, right? Because without the cooling water, the whole bloody place will catch on fire and self-combust. Bye-bye AI. It's ironic. It is, to me, it is so laughable. It's so ironic that this technology of the future relies on Mother Nature. Now, I know a lot about water because for 21 years I've lived here with all water to the cottage coming from a little spring well up on the hill. And it's gravity fed to the cottage, doesn't require any pumps or anything. But during the months of June, July and August, when there is much less rain, I try not to even turn on the taps. Unless, of course, we're blessed with, some massive showers and it's great, and I can hear the water in the tank in the loft, filling up. So yeah, I know how vital water is to us. Every aspect of our lives. Very interesting. Our lives, yeah? Just putting that out there. So, it appears that AI needs a huge amount of, storage, obviously, because everything, even these videos are going into a storage bank somewhere, courtesy of YouTube, and needing quite a lot of water. So I should really keep it really short, shouldn't I? But we don't normally think about these things, you see. So that's one of the issues that I'm having to kind of reconcile my thinking to. Like, I know the beginning of this story because I've just told it to you. I'm coming towards the middle. I haven't got a clue how it's going to end, but I could take a guess or two. So let's go to the guess or two, shall we? We leave the middle bit of the story out for the moment until I'm better furnished with the facts. So there is this push by certain people, and especially those suited and booted in the dark recesses of every government, to get us to Mars. Jesus, that's going to take a lot of water. Going to a place where there isn't any water. Yeah, I really don't think that Musk has thought this one through, you see, because I know really intelligent people who haven't got a clue how to make a pot of tea. Do you understand? They have all the intelligence, but it's like this. Blinker, can't see anything else. And so they don't factor in a lot of these issues. Or perhaps they kind of half factor them in and just think, oh, well, if we had less humans on the planet, then, we'd have more water, which means more robots and stuff. Yeah. Funny old world, that. So, if our future lies in the hands of idiots and lunatics, then, as I've been saying these 21 years, it's time to hunker down a bit and try to think things through. And don't just take as read, as gospel, what politicians, I don't care what colour they are, I don't care what political party they belong to, because they're all bought. Well, 99% of them are. And the other 1%, should we trust them? I've been there, done that, been very disappointed. Yeah. I voted for Blair the liar. Yeah, and the illegal invasion of Iraq. But anyway, cut, we won't go there. So AI also has a strong inability to understand what you're saying. Oh yes, they can understand any amount of languages because they are programmable, you know. The nerds are sitting there, you know. Okay, this one can speak French fluently. This one can speak English. In Ireland, we mostly speak English. Although our language is Irish, and it's coming back in little waves. But we mostly speak English, we communicate in English. And I have difficulty understanding someone from County Cork or County Kerry. So when I try to use AI to leave a comment on a video or on Facebook or on anywhere else, the words that I am pronouncing more than adequately aren't even picked up. So for example, this is a funny one, okay, because some of you may agree with AI here, in which case, So there's one comment I was leaving, and I tried to preface it with, you know, I'm a little bit shouty, talking about some serious subject, and I kept coming through as shitty. Now, I've opened up my laptop here, and I've just typed in, what are the main concerns around AI? So I'm expecting to see concerns about what I've just discussed with you here, but no, none. I'll just read them out to you. Key concerns about AI. Bias and discrimination. Well, they've already discriminated about my accent, my dialect. Job displacement. That's something which is very much sort of in the public domain, because people are thinking, well, AI can do this job better than X, Y, or Z, and people are already being let go, shall we say. Well, sacked, yeah. Lack of transparency, yeah. Privacy risks, absolutely. Oh yeah, I'll just read the text of this one. Privacy risks. AI technologies often require vast amounts of personal data to function effectively. Well, if they require vast amounts of personal data requires vast amounts of water to keep it all cool. Doesn't say that though. The potential for data breaches and unauthorized surveillance. That's been going on for some time. Is a growing worry in the age of AI. It's been a growing worry since the day I was born. Security threats. Ethical dilemmas. Shall we divert this water to keep this 3 square acres of machines cool? Or should we ensure that human beings have a good supply of quality water? Now there's an ethical dilemma. But it doesn't say that on here. Intellectual property issues. Conclusion. Oh, listen to the conclusion. Talk about soft soaping. The rapid advancement of AI technology presents both opportunities and challenges. This actually sounds like your average politician, doesn't it? On the fence. Addressing these concerns requires a collaborative effort among technologists, policymakers, and society to ensure that AI is developed and deployed responsibly with a focus on ethical standards and regulatory frameworks. God, the word salad that they come out with, eh? It's a bit like those international laws, isn't it? You know those international laws saying that every country that has signed to them should vigorously oppose genocide in whichever way they can. By understanding and mitigating these risks, we can harness the benefits of AI while minimizing its potential harms. Go thirsty! Anyway, yeah. So in conclusion, because it's always good to bring the story to the end, except of course that I've left out the middle. Well, maybe the middle's for another day. Let's get back to the real issue here. Water. Because I oughter get back to the water, okay? Cooling. And I'm reading this now because I've done a deeper dive into what's called data centers, where all your emails, and all the videos, and all the photos are held in the cloud. Cooling, the primary role of water. Servers inside data centers generate enormous amounts of heat as they process and store data. If this heat isn't managed properly, it will lead to overheating, equipment damage, and costly downtime within a matter of minutes. Costly downtime, meaning that we're down instead of in the cloud. Cooling is critical, or costly downtime. Sorry. Cooling is critical, and that's where water comes in. Well, I'd say staying alive is critical, and that's where water comes in. Anyway, so we're now going to look at the impact of evaporative cooling. So this is a little bit of, how it all works. Evaporative cooling is one of the most efficient ways to keep servers cool, because all these machines are called servers, though who they serve I don't know. I suppose us. Yeah, okay. Let's be generous and say they serve us. To keep servers cool and up to 90% more efficient than just using traditional refrigerant air conditioning systems. Evaporative cooling works by using water to absorb heat, which then evaporates to carry the heat away in large cooling towers. While this method is effective, and here's the crux, it's also water intensive. Here's the data from this data server center. A typical 1 megawatt data center, and that's a pretty small one, using evaporative cooling can consume around 18.5 100,000 gallons per day. Larger hyperscale facilities may use magnitudes more than this, as cooling capacity scales with how large the data center is. Okay. This makes evaporative cooling the biggest contributor to water consumption in most data centers. Now, there's tons more information about this. The sad thing is, of course, that our media, you know, the media that tells us what to think. Yeah. We all know who owns them. I'll give you a clue. Robert Maxwell, not his real name, the father of Ghislaine Maxwell, you know, the one who's in prison for paedophilia and stuff. He, from some source of money, back when I was a young mother, bought one of the biggest newspapers in the UK. It was called the Daily Mirror, right? And he used the Daily Mirror to promote whatever interests he was told to promote by the dark suits behind the counters, behind the curtains. Anyway, this is by the by, but it's basically, he ended up dying when he fell off a big yacht. I think it was the yacht that he named after his daughter, Ghislaine, you know, the one who's in Clink in America. And it was found out then, when he had, you know, drowned off this yacht or whatever, or someone pushed him overboard, or a certain organisation may have been involved, you know, beginning with M and ending with D. It turns out that he had raided the pension funds of his own workforce. There's something you might want to Google. That's the kind of media. The provenance of the media, of course, is 5 or 6 extremely wealthy men. Goes back to that. But that's the kind of media that isn't giving you this information. But anyway, there's the information. I've put it out there, and for me, until I know better, and I'm keeping the research going, for me, the problem with AI is that it needs a lot of water, which we oughta have. Blessings to you all. Have a lovely week. Enjoy the week that's in it, and I'll be back sometime towards the end of the week with a regular video. I say regular. It's mostly irregular, but anyway. Blessings to you all.